Hi everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing a few card projects featuring my brand new stamp set for Simon Says Stamp called I Still Do. This set is all about anniversaries and celebrating year in and year out. And I'm excited about the projects. Also, I'm excited about another new product called Reverse Sentiment Strips. If you like that look of the white type on black, we have some sentiment strips for you that I think you're going to love. So let's take a look at the stamp set first. I Still Do is full of sentiments for your significant other, whether it's for anniversaries or if you're not married, well, you're my favorite hookup. That's a good one too. But I just wanted something to celebrate long-term relationships. And I love the idea that you can color the hearts, you can stamp these different types of sentiments, and there are coordinating dies that cut out a number of the images. I'll be using some Simon Intense Black because I'm going to do some Copic coloring. Now I wanted to show you my little swatch ring because this has been pretty helpful for me in choosing markers because I really don't know markers by name. I'm not experienced enough to know like, oh, the ROO will work with the B blah 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 blue. So I reach for this time and again, and I'm using it today to pick out a rainbow of colors to color in the hearts. So let's get into it. Today I'm stamping with Simon Says Stamp Intense Black because I'm using all these Copic markers. This is the first time I've ever used this particular ink, and I'm just going to say it, I don't think I will go back to Memento. I was really surprised at how crisp and how dark it stamps. Now I decided to hit it twice because it's such a delicate heart pattern, and I stamped one at the top and then I flipped my cardstock and repeated it for the bottom because I'm making two card projects with the same circle heart wreath, if you will. Now it's time to color, but I want to point something out. I'm taking every one of the chisel nibs out of my Copic markers and replacing them with the fine tip. There's the brush side, right? I'm not as great with the brush, but these small fine point nibs, they make coloring so much easier for me. I have a hard time seeing, I think I need to, I know I need new glasses, but every time I open a marker and I remember that that one has the little tiny nib, I just felt joy in my heart. So all I'm doing here is basic coloring. Now this particular color, RV25, I got a little heavy-handed. And so I brought in my Colorless blender not just once, but a couple of times to just try to push that color back in because it almost acts like an eraser. So if you're new to Copics and you don't have one, I would strongly recommend getting one because I pretty much use mine every time I color because I have a hard time staying in the lines. But I'm not doing anything fancy here. I'm coloring each heart a little bit of shading, maybe with the same color. So I'll go a little bit darker on the outside of the heart on some, but then on others I didn't because I thought, you know what, this looks great. They're very tiny, so it's just going to look fine as a single color, no fancy blending or shading, and friends, that is my style. Now, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Looks pretty good, but I still noticed that you can see there on that, there's just still a little bit. So I went back to work on it a little bit more. I also have the small point nib or the fine tip nib on my Colorless blender, which I completely forgot about, and that also helped me to push the color back in. I worked on it for a while and I almost erased all of it. It was looking a lot better. All right, next I'm going to take the coordinating die and cut it out. Now usually I'll do a template for a die like this, and I probably should have, but I do think it turned out pretty well. It could have been a little better. I did do a template for the second card, and it cut better, but I still think it's adorable. And I added thin foam squares to the back because I'm going to pop it up on a card panel. And I thought this would be really cute on a square card. So I'm going to cut this panel out of some Neenah Solar White. This is the 110-pound weight cardstock. I'm tucking that sentiment in to make sure that it's designed to fit inside the circle, but getting the placement right. I'm going to position my cardstock back down, get out my little heart wreath, and run my embossing magic pad over my cardstock to remove static and oil, and then take my embossing ink and ink up the stamp, and then I will take the Misty Door and place it down and just put some light pressure on the door. I'll sprinkle on my powder. This is Gilded from Brutus Monroe, and get another little coating on there and flick the excess off. And then I'll get my heat tool nice and hot and quickly melt the powder until it is shiny and smooth and gold. And that looks great. Next I had an idea, well actually I was just trying to channel my inner Laura Basson. I cut a series of 1/2 inch strips, and I just pulled this cardstock right out of my scrap bin because I keep all my scraps on some shelves in my craft/dining room. And I thought it would be cute to just glue them all down to create sort of a colorful background. And once I had all the strips glued into place, I took a larger die from that nested square die set, and I went ahead and just cut this out because I wanted it to be a nice colorful layer for my card project. I'm making a square card, so the paper is 8.5 by 4 1/4. I'm scoring and folding at 4 1/4. I'll give that a nice press to get a good crease with my Teflon bone folder. I'm going to add some dot runner to the back of this panel, get that nice and coated, and then I'm going to line that up on the card base. Just like that. I've got foam tape on the back of the sentiment panel, and that will be popped up right in the center. And the last step is to take the backing off the little foam squares on the back of the hearts and line that up right around the sentiment. And that's it. I was going to add some shine and glitz, and I thought, no, I like this. Speaking of things I like, this is a new set of sentiment strips that I designed for Simon Says Stamp. You've got little small sentiments, you've got sentiments that are a little bigger, and they can all be cut apart and used on card projects. And the cool thing is, they are white on black, friends. You get 2 sheets in each of the packs, and they're duplicates. And I just think this is really great because if you struggle with stamping, white on black and heat embossing and it gets mucky, these strips, you're going to love them because they are really black. They're easy to cut apart. And I'm just using a sentiment strip for this card project as the title. Now I want to show you too. See that little dot of red? I thought, sentiment strip to the rescue. I just popped that up. And for this heart wreath, I left the die cut center in because I thought, yeah, I kind of like the look of that. But isn't that sentiment strip great? That's just one of them from the set. And again, I think you're going to love them because it really does take some of the mucky muck out of stamping and embossing in white if you struggle with that. So check those out for sure. And thanks for watching today. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my channel. And if you do, be sure to hit the gray notification bell below the video so that you don't miss the next time I post. Thanks for watching and have a fantastic day.